What's going on, guys? Welcome to another series of Black Pearl. So in last episode I actually showed you what are the different steps, actually 3 steps, how you can capture forensic data and memory data for a Windows machine. But this time this guy came to me and asked me for help.
Take them. Please.
Okay, so today we are going to cover everything from Linux side, and I will show you how can easily you can capture memory dump for a Linux machine. Not only that, I will even show you after capturing that data how you can process the data using volatility. Okay, so you are getting fascinated? Me too. Okay, so without doing any further delay, let's grab some coffee and let's get started. So first thing first, as you see, Black Pearl infected host machine has a IP address 52 something. So I'll just copy this public DNS and I will open up a command prompt, which is a terminal anyway, and I will do a SSH. Okay, so if you come here to just to the bottom section, you see the public DNS information as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna simply copy that as well, and I am gonna log in to this box as well. Okay, so I am logging into the second machine as well. Okay, so you see I'm logged into both of the machines. So let me show you. So just remember that this blue section is our forensic workstation, and this black section is our the infected machine actually. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do, we first need to collect the memory image for the infected Linux host, right? So for that I have opened up a tool, it's called AVML, and believe me guys, this tool has been created by Microsoft. So are you guys feeling something like fishy or something like really some other steps going on, because this tool has been created by Microsoft and Microsoft is also working in Linux space? But believe me guys, this tool is awesome, and for our this tutorial we are gonna use this tool from collecting the memory image of this particular Linux host. Okay, so let's see how this tool works. So what we can do, we can just go to this particular releases section and we just need to download this AVML tool into our machine. That's all. So I am gonna copy this particular you can say that location or whatever maybe you can call it, and we need to dump that particular thing into our infected machine. And remember, this black box is our infected machine. But before that, we can do a quick apt update, right? Because this is the first thing, this is a fresh machine, so we need to do a apt get update, right? Because we haven't done anything on that particular box and we don't know what the things are present and what is not present in this particular machine. So before, just remember this thing, before you do any other thing, this is particular mandatory step. Okay, now what we can do, we can do a simply like wget, and we can copy paste the link from it and it will pull down the whole repository over here. Okay, so if I do a ls-l here, so you see that AVML it's now present. Now we can do a quick validation just by running a simple command, which is like file, and we can do AVML just to verify what is this file actually type is. So as you see, it's an ELF and it's an obviously executable file. Now to run it as a executable format, we might need to change the permission of the file. So we will do a quick chmod and we will transfer this file to 755. That makes the file to executable and we are done. So now if we do a ls-l again, you can see the color has been changed of the file because the file is now an executable and we don't need to do anything else. So simply one command. So just remember this command. So we do a sudo because we need admin privilege, and we run this as AVML/AVML of course, and we need to specify the name of the memory. So for this instance, let's consider is as maybe memory.raw. So are you guys ready? So I am ready, so let's do it. So it's like it's in process, so you guys won't see that something is happening, but believe me, once it is done, it will show up in front of screen right away. And as you see, I have my command prompt already back. It might be within a minute or something. So it depends on how big is your data, how big is your RAM actually. So let's actually see whether it's all done or not. So you see there is a file called avm like memory.raw, and it's obviously like 1 GB file because I know my RAM is 1 GB, right? So now the second step that we need to consider. So this is the infected machine and we are not doing any other steps over here. So we need to consider this file for something like considerable format, and we need to parse it with volatility, right? So let's do that now. Okay, so I just swapped my screen a bit. So my blue screen is always like the forensic workstation, and we are not gonna do anything over there, this black machine anyway. So what the first thing again we need to do, we will do a sudo apt get update, because again we don't know what the hell is already present in that particular machine. And also one thing I just need to tell you that you guys already know by this, I assume that, because on the machine which is your infected machine, you ran a command and avml runs in kernel mode, so it doesn't make, or it doesn't actually drop multiple footprints on your machine. But it's always suggestible that you don't do any other steps on your infected machine. So whatever the analysis, whatever the parsing, what other things, maybe using volatility, downloading that, creating profiles, everything we are gonna do in our forensic workstation. Okay, so now you see our update is already done. So I'll clear up my screen. Sorry, I can't type. So I am cleared my machine now. So what I'm gonna do, you see there is another GitHub repository that I have opened. So it's the volatility GitHub repository. So, and I'm gonna use this volatility version 2, but volatility version 3 is already out there in the market, and I guess it's beta version now running. But I'm assuming that, but you guys can verify that anyway. So comment me and let me know whether you guys are still using volatility 2 or volatility 3. I would like to hear that as well. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna copy this simple code, because I'm gonna git clone this particular thing, and I will minimize my terminal. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna simply git clone this full repository, because that's gonna dump my GitHub volatility repository to my forensic workstation, because that's I need. Okay, so I'll do a quick ls-l to verify whether volatility is installed or not. So volatility is already came into my machine, and I'll do a cd volatility to verify what are the files that is currently present inside that particular folder. And as you see, these are obvious tools that gonna present into your machine. Now remember that, so we are working everything from a Linux perspective right now. I hope you guys know that while you are parsing anything like any Windows image or something, so those profiles are already built in volatility, right? But for Linux, we need to create our own, you can say, a profile through which you can actually parse that image into volatility. Okay, so now let's first check what is our kernel version of our infected machine. So for that, I'll clear up my sorry, not in this forensic workstation, I need to check it in my infected machine. So I'll do a quick uname -a. Okay, so that will give me what is the kernel version that is running, and as you can see, the kernel version is 5.4.0 AWS. So you need to make sure that you have a same kernel profile installed, or the Linux profile on which you are building the volatility profile, it's same, right? So I'm gonna run that same thing over my forensic workstation as well, because I'll assume that, and I know that I created these two machines like side by side from same AMI, right? So it has to match, there is no other option. Okay, now what we will do, we will go inside a folder, you can follow along with me. So we will first go inside volatility, there is a folder as you can see named tools, and there is a folder inside that called Linux. Okay, so we will go inside that, and if we go inside do ls-l, you will see there is a file name called makefile. Okay, so this might give you some hint that we need to either run some make command, or we might need need to build something. Okay, so let's see. We will simply go and we can run as make. Okay, so you see there is no make command because the machine is fresh and you need to build it. So we can simply copy this particular command and we can install that make command. So again, remember, I'm showing everything from scratch, so the machine is fresh and you need to download like some other dependencies or something. So you see my make has already been installed. Now there are some other dependencies also we need to remember. We need to install sudo apt install gcc, because gcc is a compiler that we also need to compile this make command or anything else that we are going to run. Okay, so let's see that. It will be really quick, I guess. So again, depending on your speed, bandwidth speed, and we are anyway using AWS, so it has to be really fast, right? So it's done now. Okay, so I'll clear up my screen and I hope this time my make should run. Okay, so I ran make again and you see there is another failure. But why? Because it tells me that I don't have a dwarf installed. So it is another dependency, remember that. Okay, so we need to sudo apt install, oops, sorry, I can't type as I said you. So we need to install something called dwarf dump. Okay, so dwarf dump, dwarf dump. Okay, so this is another dependency that you guys need. Okay, so I'm assuming at this point I have done everything. So let's cross our finger and let's do a make this time. Okay, so I am assuming the make has been done. So because I don't see any other error or something has come up. So let me clear up my screen and let's see ls-l, and as you see there is a file name called module.dump. So that means we are successfully build up our first step of profile. Okay, so now what we can do, we can go to our home directory from where actually we were running everything. So cd cd space, and it will go 2 steps and another step. Okay, so now we are, I guess, home Ubuntu. Awesome. So we are inside home Ubuntu. Now we need to we actually obviously validated, right? So from our this particular machine, which is infected machine, we verified our both kernel matches, right? So what we need to do at this point of time, we need to run zip. Okay, so we remember, so I believe there is no zip at this point of time in this machine as well. So I can install sudo apt install then zip, because this is another dependency. Can't get away with this, guys. So we need to install that because we need to zip something. So you remember we have just built up a dwarf file. We need to zip that with the kernel profile. So let's do that now. So now we just need to do a zip with this kernel version what we are having in this forensic workstation with the kernel module. Okay, so let's do that. So remember this command, we just need to do a sudo zip, and I'm gonna write as Ubuntu because by this name I can easily identify what is the actual profile name that I'm gonna actually running or I'm gonna using inside the volatility. So I'll copy that for reference because that's my kernel module name. You can anyway write anything as you need, but I prefer that. Okay, so then I'll make as zip, and you remember there is a dwarf file that we just build upon, so we just need to call that. Okay, so inside tools, inside Linux, there was a file called module.dwarf. Okay, so this is the first thing that we need inside our zip, and the second file we need obviously the boot sector and the system kernel. So this is our system kernel, and we hit enter. Okay, so you see the zip has been done. So let's do a ls-l quickly to verify what we have actually done. So we have created our zip file, which is now having two things. One thing is our kernel profile, and one thing is our the dwarf file that we have currently built. So these two files we need to parse our current memory image. So it's almost done. Now one last step is required, which actually you need to move this particular file to somewhere for that volatility can see that, right? So for that we just need to move that file. So we will gonna write a move command, and we are gonna moving this whole zip file to a particular location, and you can follow along with me. There is a folder called volatility, inside another folder called volatility, and after that there is a folder called volatility. Inside that there is another folder called plugins, and there is another folder called overlays, and there is a folder called Linux. Okay, so we just need to move this zip file inside that folder, and we are done. Now actually let's verify whether after running your volatility command, whether you can see the profile that you currently build is whether it's viewable or not. Okay, so for that we will go inside our volatility folder, and we will do a quick ls-l just to verify in case. And I guess I don't have any Python installed on this machine, right? So we can do a quickly like sudo apt again install Python, because we don't have any Python, right? So, and vol.py is a Python process, so obviously you need that anyway. Okay, so it's done now. I'll clear up my screen, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run python vol.py --info and /more. Let's see what I am assuming that I will see my profiles that I currently just built, but let's see, let's wait. Yes, as you see in the first section of the profile, you see your build up profile that you just currently build. So at this point of time, you are now obviously ready to analyze your machine with your raw dump file that you have built on the black machine, which is your infected machine, and your profile and everything is ready on your forensic workstation. Now you are thinking these two machines are different, right? Now how I can pull that particular raw file from an infected machine to our forensic workstation? So let's do that now. So we are back in our AWS console, because here actually we need to do every magic over there, right? So this is our Ubuntu 18, and this is our infected host machine. So our raw file, that is our memory image, is lying inside this host machine, which we need to transfer this to forensic machine. So it's easy process. What we can do, we just need to create a snapshot of this particular machine. Okay, now if you see here, there is a particular elastic block store under, there is a name called snapshot. If we click here, it will come here to this section, and we will simply create a snapshot. Okay, so we are going to create a volume snapshot, and you remember this is our infected host, so we will select that, and we will see a snapshot of infected machine. Okay, so that's why we can understand what is actually this thing. So we don't need to mention any tag, but if you want, you can mention it anyway. So we will create that snapshot. Okay, now you see our snapshot is completed now. So what we need to do now, we need to create a volume copy using that snapshot. Okay, so what we can do, if you just come here and if you just click this volume check section, it will route you to this particular page, and you will see there is already two volume copies that is present. So these are the EBS volumes that is currently consumed by one of our infected host, which is Ubuntu host, and one of our Ubuntu forensic machine. Okay, so what we can do, we can go to action and we can create a volume. Okay, so just remember that one thing, you just need to create the volume on the same availability zone on which your forensic workstation is present. Okay, so let's go to our forensic workstation. So it's our Ubuntu, and if you just scroll here, you see it's in US West 2B, right? So we just need to create our volume copy inside US West 2B. Okay, So it's done, and we don't need to encrypt it anyway, and we just simply create volume. So that's done. Once we create that volume, so it's already created, right? So if you just come here inside the volume section, and if you just refresh the page, now you will see there is another volume that just got created, which is also 8 GB, and you see it's available because we haven't actually using that. Now what we need to do, okay, so let me take you back to my forensic workstation. So this is our forensic workstation, right? So we will hit that, and we will go clear up that section, and let me show you what are the volume copies that is currently present on that machine. Okay, so we, for that reason, we can just come out from volatility. We will go inside our home directory. Now we will do a lsblk. This thing will give you the current volume section, what is actually present inside your machine. So you see there is only one volume copy that is currently present, which is xvda1. okay, now what we gonna do, we gonna mount this particular not mount, actually we are just going to attach this volume section with the our forensic workstation. Okay, so we will go inside, and we will attach this particular volume with our instance name. And if you see, it's saying that US WES 2B. So on which instance you just need to attach it? Obviously we know that forensic Ubuntu workstation, right? So, and you see the device itself will be attached to dev SDF, and sometime it can be for Linux, obviously it can SDF or SDP actually also, right? So we just don't need to bother about so much, we just simply attach it, and now you see it's in use. Okay, so now let's go back to our terminal, and let's hit that particular command again. So now you see it's saying that xvdf1, there is another partition which was not there previously. Now you see this partition is the core partition of my forensic workstation, and I have just attached another partition which I have created from the snapshot of the infected host. Okay, so now I just need to mount this particular volume section with my the core copy, so that I can read whatever inside it, right? Because it's not mounted. You can see it's mounted with my root, but it's not mounted anywhere. So what I need to do, I need to create a particular directory, on which directory I need to mount that particular new volume. Okay, so I will create another directory inside mnt, because that's my mount location, and I will say that Linux mount. Okay, so it's done now, and now I need to mount that file simply to that particular location. So for that I will run sudo mount -o ro, then minus location, which is it's dev, then slash xvdf1, obviously. So that is the particular location which I am trying to mount it anyway, and which is my mount location, right? mnt to Linux mount. Just click enter. So you see it's like it's already it's done now, right? So how can we verify it's we can simply do a lsblk again, and we see, you see this is our root partition, and this particular section is mounted to this location. Now you want to see the magic. Okay, so now what we can do, you remember this blue screen is our forensic workstation, right? Now we can go to ls-l, then mnt, then Linux mount, and we see there are a lot of files. Again, we will go inside mnt, then Linux mount, and then inside home I'll assume there is a folder called Ubuntu. Okay, so I'm inside Ubuntu now, and I'll do ls-l and be ready, guys. So you see AVML and my memory raw has been taken to my forensic workstation now. So it's pretty simple at this point of time. So it's now piece of cake actually. Okay, So what I need to do, I just need to simply run my Python command, and I need to call my volatility, obviously the module file on which I need to run that particular software, right? So I'll go home, then there is a folder called Ubuntu. I'll say Ubuntu, then there is a folder called volatility, then vol.py, right? Then I need to mention -f, which is the switch. By the way, I hope you guys already know that. So it's the switch for specifying the file name. Okay, so my file is sitting inside mnt, then there is a folder called Linux mount, then there is a folder called home, then Ubuntu, then you remember it's called memory.raw, right? Then I need to mention as profile. Okay, profile equal to I actually didn't remember what is the profile name, so I cheated a little bit. I just copy pasted the profile name. You can do the same anyway. Then what I can just write, I can write Linux ps list. Okay, and I'll hit enter. Obviously it will do some failure because it's an obvious not a full scope of Ubuntu, because it's Amazon Ubuntu and I don't have any idea what is this file actually called. But you see, our process is actually the purpose is actually getting solved now, right? So you see the whole process tree has been populated here. Okay, so you see I was running the AVML software and AVML compiler when I was capturing the memory, and that is the reason you can see everything is populated here, right? So we solved our purpose already, right? So initially we created like two machines. So one was our infected machine where we actually dumped AVML and we created our memory dump file, and we have a second machine which was our forensic workstation where we actually dumped volatility from GitHub, their official library, and we created the same profile on which our infected machine was running to have volatility see through the memory dump that we created, right? So it's done. Isn't it pretty awesome, right? What might have been you guys have been struggling with a lot for Linux, and me specifically, I was also struggling with that. So Microsoft also solved that problem. It's really fascinating and amazing, guys. So once also more tips. So I have an automation script also in my hand. So I showed you all this drama, all this skin swapping and all those stuff. So in that script I can automate everything. So do you guys want that? So comment me and let me know. But before leaving, I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. So let's hack YouTube today, obviously ethically. So click all those buttons what you have, click the like button, hit the bell icon, and obviously subscribe to the Black Pearl channel so that you can get all this information coming at your own disposal. So I'll see you guys next time. Stay tuned.